Hello again. Well, it's been a big, big job, but I'm finally very nearly there. Sorry it's been a while for the videos. I've had a lot on, and I absolutely hate body prep. So I'm doing the doors at the moment. This is the last bit to be done. What I'm going to do in this video is take you over the engine itself. I'm going to show you how to turbo, basically. Let's have a look, shall we? So let's go over what I've got. It's a bit complicated, clearly, but let's start from where air goes in, shall we? I just need to fit the filter, which is going to go here-ish. The air goes down here into the turbo. I'll do a freeze frame of the back end of this shot for you now. Okay, air goes into the turbo, and I'll do a top-down shot as well, just for you now, so you can see what I'm describing. Air goes out of the turbo after being compressed, across through this big tube here into the intercooler. I need to make up a duct as well for cool air into the intercooler. I know. Air gets cooled out of that through this tube. This is the throttle body. Throttle body's got the flap in it, you know. Here's the throttle cable. Attached to the pedal. That then allows air, just air, down through this tube. And again on the top down view, you've got the two injectors at the back, the green things. They squirt fuel straight into the original Metro turbo manifold and then off into the engine. Let's talk about fueling next. Fuel comes from the pump in the boot up through this tube into the injector manifold that I've made up. Again, top down view. It then comes back out, well, that's not used, comes back out, and this is the fuel pressure regulator here. This regulates to 3 bar compared to manifold pressure. That's achieved by attaching this tube down to the manifold, intake manifold here. This basically causes a restriction against the flow, which creates pressure in the injectors. And waste fuel, or unused I should say, fuel goes back out through this tube and back down to the tank to be recirculated again. Right, let's talk sparks. This is the coil pack. I think it's a Ford Escort or Fiesta part, attached to the micro squirt ECU. This is wasted spark, it's called, where it fires every stroke. So the plugs actually fire during the exhaust stroke. It doesn't help in any way, but it does make it simpler to implement. These are NGK BPR7ES plugs, standard plugs with the correct heat rating for turbo application. On this side here, I'll do a view from here now for you. We've got the dump valve, which is your what thing? Yeah, it's a chav thing, but they do have a purpose. When you hear that turbo flutter, that kind of thing, that's bad. That's basically air bouncing off the turbo blades of the impeller, causing a resonance in the intake, which you don't want, because it can cause turbo to stall, it can cause other issues. Dump valve stops that happening. It's connected to the manifold as well, the intake manifold. The idea being it's actuated. When you lift off the throttle, you end up with a vacuum. That vacuum opens the dump valve, dumps the high pressure air from inside the induction system that isn't in the post throttle body area into the atmosphere, giving you that noise. What else have we got? oil. You saw me make this feed up earlier on one of the other videos. That's only one part of the oil system. I haven't actually put a cooler on. I could, I've got one, but I haven't put it on yet. I'm just going to see how the temperatures go. So oil wise, the only alteration I've done really is a secondary pipe which comes from here, runs round through and then back into the turbo to supply oil to the turbo. Very much needed. It then drains down from the turbo itself into the back of the engine block. This here is the intake air PWM, what are we calling it? Idle bypass valve. This allows the ECU to control the amount of air going into the intake system separate to the throttle flap, which is controlled by your foot. This is controlled electronically. It basically lets it control idle. It's not essential, but damn useful. Otherwise you end up with high idle, low idle on startup, and it gets complicated. There's no reason not to run one really. Rest of this tubing, this is the engine breather. I'm going to tidy this up I think. I'm going to go for the solid tube from the breather on this side across. This one comes out the standard breather up here, goes into this tube, up back into this catch tank here, which catches the oil in the air coming out of the engine. There shouldn't be a huge amount, but you need to empty it every so often. I need to block up this other tube as well. Just block it off. Yeah, that's the engine bay. I'm not going to start it right now. I'm going to start it in a video for you tomorrow. Also going to show you the Tuner Studio tuning software on my laptop, get it all plumbed in, show you how that works. It's quite in-depth. At the moment I've got it basically tuned to idle and tuned to give a good output for the MOT. It's basically an MOT safe map I've developed for it, which is going to be heavily modified afterwards during road testing and road tuning. So that's the engine for now. I just want to do a quick thank you to a couple of companies that have really helped me out. It's 14.7 who make Lambda controllers based in the US. I had a failure on the unit that I had. Contacted him via email and he sent out a brand new controller, absolutely free of charge, no questions asked. Not fitted yet, but no reason to think it shouldn't work. So big thanks. Secondly, I want to also say thanks to Gaz Shocks, who sent me out a bush for one of my shocks. Again, really nice of them, free of charge, fitted it in, straight on, brilliant. That's about that really. So I'll get back to you tomorrow. Hopefully I'll finish these doors off as well. Yeah, it's warm today as well. Beer.